Hi, and welcome to an Organized Chaos podcast. I'm Bobby Quarters. Chaos is here with me as well. We just wanted to thank you for watching.
Yes. Hey, Bobby.
And hey, and while you're here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You could follow me on YouTube as well as Chaos and the podcast channel, which all three of those channels will be streaming this very show you're about to watch. All these counselors start dropping dead, left and right. Heinous killings. Turns out, that kid who drowned the year before, his mother came back to that camp and exacted revenge.
I see everything that you are. Don't be afraid. You have so much pain in you that you can't contain it.
Every ship which has approached the ribbon has either been destroyed or severely damaged.
Obviously, they were looking for something.
The hell's he doing?
I have an appointment with eternity.
The star is going to collapse in a matter of minutes.
That'll destroy everything in this system.
Population.
230 million, sir.
But I can't do this alone. I need help.
I know someone who can.
You say history considers me dead. Who am I to argue with history?
You're a Starfleet officer. You have a duty.
And now, the torch of adventure is about to be passed.
Eliminate them.
Klingon vessel decloaking directly ahead, sir.
Get in, loser.
Regina George is a scum-sucking life ruiner.
Why is he by our table?
I can hear you, by the way. Can you hear me now? We're gonna make her pay.
Girls are made deranged by what's called hormones. WHO.
What is going on?
Don't worry about it. For me, I'm a little one boy's gotta Pinterest me. I've been told y'all I'm the best Regina George.
We as women have to support each other.
If you need to talk to me about anything, boy troubles, blackheads, or alcohol poisoning, I have been through it all.
Yes. I remember how to do this. God, we just did this last week.
We did
Like, wait,
something like that.
I click buttons, right? Huh? Who? What?
I think so. I was waiting for you to try and be sneaky again.
Yeah, no, I'm too out of it to be sneaky. Listen, I got to spend last night changing a battery in 5-degree weather in pitch dark. It was wonderful. I loved it. It was wonderful.
Did you have tools at least?
I had to go to the store and get a toolkit. My girlfriend did not have tools. I was like, God damn it, I have tools at home. Okay.
Yeah, it's.
I'm just like, well, I'll get you a little toolkit, and we're going to keep it here just in case you need it.
You keep it in the trunk.
Yeah.
Spare.
I stuck it in her laundry room, although the trunk isn't a terrible idea either. It varies, yeah. Kind of depends what happens, but yes, that's how I spent my night. It was exciting, but yeah. How you doing, Bobby?
Not so bad.
Yeah.
I went to the theater to go see Mean Girls today, and I forgot that I kind of was like, oh yeah, it's Martin Luther King Day. That's why this theater is so packed. Not everyone has the day off today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised with that turnout. Usually when I go see these for the show on a Monday, it's just me in a small amount. So
Yeah, it's decently empty on Mondays usually, but yeah, Martin Luther King Day will change that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we will be covering Echo. We'll be covering Star Trek Generations, famously the best Star Trek movie ever. and then we will be discussing Mean Girls.
Surprisingly, actually, that one actually holds up.
You talk about Generations?
Yes. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I have issues, but like I don't hate it as much as like I know there's a lot of people who hate it. I don't really hate it. Like I see a good movie there, and they just kind of fucked it up. But we'll get to it.
Yeah. Well, I have a fun note, but we'll get to it. Yeah.
Yeah. But the first topic is Echo. Before we actually get into Echo, you want to look at some classy takes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Classy is such a wide definition. Like you have to be a little bit more direct.
I mean, we haven't done a Chud in a week in a while, and
yeah, we have not done a Chud for the week for a while.
I thought you would enjoy some of these fantastic, well thought out, articulate tweets.
So it's a new year, same old Chuds,
huh? Yeah.
So it's a new year, same old Chuds. All right.
Yeah. So this is a good old Nerdrotic, and his first tweet is a picture of what looks like it's his first tweet. So I'm going to assume this is her fight scene with Daredevil. So like
I think so.
Awkwardly in the fight. Just when you thought they couldn't go any more MCU, #Echo, #MCU. Do you understand that? Other than like maybe saying woman bad?
Okay, read it again.
Just when you thought they couldn't go any more MCU, #Echo, #MCU.
He watched Hawkeye, right?
Yeah.
Like he did, right?
No, I assume so. I mean,
character's
Hawkeye
established.
That's right.
Unless use the argument so forgettable, but
Well, I mean, that's right. I covered his review of Hawkeye, and all he did in that video was complain about Kate Bishop, doing stuff.
Oh, he was distracted by Kate Bishop. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes. It is just saying woman bad,
Yeah, that's all I can get. And then here's a classy one. Blah ha ha ha. It's time for a queen. These are deep takes, I know.
Yeah, like God.
Echo is well, you know what? Here, I will actually say, with the exception of the #MCU, which he keeps on using, because MCU is just, I mean, it's sexist on the face of it. I don't know how else to describe it, but anyways,
it's
Echo Echo is like 4.5 episodes with 30 minutes previously on. Okay, 2 main previous clips. Okay, I will give you that as a critique. Okay, 2 main previously on. Okay. And then Echo's powers are lame as fuck. Okay, I'll give you those. Those are critiques. If you cut out the #MCU, I'd be fine with those tweets. And then we got ha ha ha, and then he's handing me the queen pin. Something not said seriously.
Wait, I got it.
Yeah,
he just doesn't like to read.
Maybe that's it. Oh my god, that might be it. Because maybe like I found myself when I was watching this, I would look at my phone occasionally, and all of a sudden I realized, wait, they're saying stuff. Like I got so used to reading subtitles, and then when I look away, I'm like, oh shit, that's right, I'm reading this mostly.
Yeah, maybe, and if that's the case, okay, valid criticism, valid.
Mm-hmm. It's tough to read sometimes,
Words are hard.
Yeah. Echo achieves maximum girl boss and defeats Kingpin again. The end. I mean, we can get into that. I was a little disappointed in that ending, but we can get into
there's a few things I was a little disappointed in, but
this isn't a perfect series, but we will get into it shortly. And then I'm pretty sure there's 2 more. Okay, so at the end, Echo makes Kingpin cry. Okay, he does know that Kingpin is not a character famous for having no emotion, right? That's not his jam.
Like he watched Daredevil, right?
Yeah.
Like
when
the Netflix one.
yeah. Well, I mean, this is and that's one thing I'll say I like about the Echo. It's pretty much firmly establishing that that Netflix stuff is MCU canon at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's Kingpin was the dude in that series who crushed a guy's head in a door because
repeatedly
yes, because he interrupted a dinner with his girlfriend. That was it.
Yep.
Yeah, that is an emotional response, guys. He is not a character established to be emotionless.
I'll agree with you. I would say smashing a guy's head in a door a few times is definitely an emotional response.
Yes. And then, yeah, this is just good old-fashioned sexism. MCU achieves maximum girl boss because this picture has 5 women in it. And fun fact, this picture also has 5 men in it, if you're looking closely. So he's just, I guess he's just insecure because there's equal amounts women to men here. God.
Like, I didn't even notice it in that. I didn't even notice that in that scene. I just saw it as what the story was telling her ancestors, her family coming to help her. And
yeah, her family coming to help her. And yeah, there's goons there. And yeah, I mean, just the fact that like he's like, oh, women are on screen. This is bad. I mean, that's not a critique, dude.
Ooga. Heard.
Yes. So yeah. So out of all these, the only ones I would say are kind of critiques. Well, that's the thing. Like, I would actually agree if you want to talk about how like there wasn't really a fight scene at the end and it was kind of ended a little anticlimactically. If you want to say that, that's fine. But just saying she defeats him again is pretty lame because I mean she will defeat him in some way. It is her.
Well, yeah, she physically did it once, and you know she psychologically did it another time.
Yeah, and then complaining that her powers are lame as fuck and complaining there's too many previously on. Okay, I can give you that. The rest of these aren't critiques. I'm sorry. It's just woman on screen. I'm
Ooga booga.
I don't know how else to say it. So yeah, that's what happens when a chud encounters something like Echo and gets really insecure about it. It's good fun. It's good fun. I guess are we ready to dive into Echo?
Yeah. Let's not talk about people who are afraid of the sun.
Oh well, I mean, Echo is very intimidating. I mean, it's a series that stars a woman who is like, capable and, yeah. How dare?
And like have a complicated history and backstory.
Yes. I mean, she's almost an anti-hero, especially towards the beginning of this. But yeah, this is I guess I'll go ahead and say my obvious my opinion. Oh my God, let me speak, Bobby. Let me speak. You're not letting me speak.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm not letting myself speak. It's the truth. Anyways, my thoughts on Echo. Before I get into the details, I thought this was pretty damn good. Is this perfect? No. There are issues. But I would say, like, if I were to rank it among the Netflix series that I've seen so far, which would be the other essentially R-rated MCU stuff at this point, I would probably put it like middle of the pack. Probably like Daredevil season 1 and Jessica Jones season 1 are just outrageously good in my opinion. And then I don't know, this might be in the range of Daredevil season 2. I kind of want to rewatch that to get the exact fix. But, like, this is solid. Like, it's no Iron Fist, that's for damn sure.
No.
But yeah, I overall I enjoyed this. Bobby, where were you at with this?
I enjoyed it too. I didn't hate it. It's not the worst like output that they've done that Marvel's put out or on the Disney Plus platform, or even its best showing. But there was a lot of. I really like the shorter series too, like just the few episodes.
I mean. Yeah, I appreciate that this was like only 5 episodes and they're decent. Like they're well-made episodes too. And it's how it's handled is almost more like a drama than a superhero show, which I appreciated. Lots of just quieter character moments. I mean, the driving force behind this whole series is kind of Maya and her relationship with her mother's side of the family, and her relationship with Kingpin, which is kind of her father's side of the family. And her very troubled relationship with that for obvious reasons. I mean, and another thing I think I really appreciate about this show is that if you haven't seen like Hawkeye or even Daredevil, I feel like you're probably pretty safe if you just start watching this because it goes over the events of Hawkeye pretty in detail early on, just to get you caught up. And then, like, honestly, if you learn about Kingpin here, I mean, obviously he's better in Daredevil, I think, but like in here, he's pretty fucking good. I mean, we're getting a lot of Kingpin here, and Vince D'Onofrio, I feel like he's doing it a little bit differently. Almost feels like a bit more comic book accurate version, but it's still really fucking good. And you can tell earlier when I said like this is definitely like the same Daredevil Kingpin. Literally, there's the scene where we see the hammer that he killed his father with. The story that he tells in Daredevil. That scene is pretty much canonized here, which means like I don't know what we're arguing about at canon at this point because it seems like Daredevil's canon. And plus Daredevil does get a cameo here. It's a brief cameo. I know.
I wish he was in more. I wish he was.
I do wish he was in more. He was great, but like he just gets a brief fight scene with Echo, and honestly, that fight scene was kind of just to establish herself to Kingpin and get her more into like she was already kind of established to him. That kind of made him go, okay, like you need to be like one of my like lieutenants and shit, and then the events of Hawkeye happen. Real briefly, like essentially, Ronin kills her father, but it turns out like Kingpin fed Ronin that information, so Kingpin kind of killed her father, and that series ends with her putting a bullet in Kingpin's eye. And this series picks up with I mean spoilers, but not really because he's back. Kingpin like probably having. I don't know exactly what's up with his eye, but like some sort of, I assume, cybernetic eye or something. Some sort of weird eye replacement that's obviously sci-fi and MCU and not real life. Which I was kind of cool with. I've been yapping a lot, Bobby. What are your thoughts?
I liked a lot. Well, you hit on a lot of the stuff that I agree with mostly on this.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. My light just went out.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, I feel like performance-wise, there's good actors, there's good performances here. I am always up for seeing more Graham Greene, so I was happy to see that he was pretty much a regular here. That was awesome. They always seem to cast him whenever they need a Native American, and and he frequently, I've noticed, does the on Brain Party. He does the kind of like the Americanized Native American where he acts like he's tribal but like he's really just like pulling your chain. I've seen him do that performance before and it's great.
It always is. I enjoyed that part of it because I was like, he's suckering him.
Yes, exactly. He's like he has his little store and he's bringing in customers. He's acting old traditional, and then behind the back he's like haggling and shit.
Look, that's evil but hilarious at the same time.
I just overall I enjoyed this. If I were to go over issues I had, I was kind of looking forward to some sort of like fight between Maya and Kingpin, and we don't really get that. It's more of an emotional conclusion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was bad per se, but wasn't like I'm just kind of set for like superhero fight scenes, and I don't know. I wanted a little bit more.
I kind of wanted a little bit more Daredevil.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought Daredevil served his purpose, and I didn't want him to take over the show. And
no.
I personally loved exploring the relationship between Maya and Fisk, which I feel like was a huge driving force between this. Obviously, and then you have obviously her relationship with her and her mother's side of the family as well is a huge driving force. And that's kind of what it's about. Like she spent most of her life working for Fisk and kind of evolving that relationship, and then this is her kind of evolving more the other side of her family's relationship, the side that isn't a murdering crime boss, which is nice. I mean, that's an interesting take. Yeah, I mean, I guess like I would prefer the ending here than like a big CGI battle like we got in fucking
Yeah,
Secret Invasion.
absolutely.
Like this ending was way better than Secret Invasion's ending, not even close.
Yeah.
I like that the main conflict is kind of just like an interpersonal one between the two of them. I do appreciate that. And you know, if there are critiques I'd levy at it off the top of my head, her powers are not remotely clear at all. Like, yeah, I like you asked me to name her powers. It's like I guess the powers of her ancestors, which is sometimes cunning and sometimes super strength, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not clear. I don't know. She's a badass, though. I'll give her that.
Yeah. Like, yeah, she's a badass. That whole train sequence in the early episodes was really great.
I mean, there's that great moment where the car pretty much like collapses on her leg. I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh my god, that would hurt so bad.
Yeah,
and then I'm like,
oh wait, that's right.
That's right. She has a fake leg. That's right.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
I was like, oh shit. And then she's like, oh cool, just unstrapping. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Whew.
Yeah, this is yeah, I enjoyed this. I don't know, like, yeah, I will say I enjoyed it quite a bit. I will say, looking at IMDb, I suspect it's getting review bombed because like the scores are lower than I would expect for being a pretty decent series. And I went over the numbers, and it's obviously got lots of 1 stars. In fact, let me bring those up real fast because I did find it was interesting. Because right now the series is sitting at an IMDb score of 6.2. Seems kind of on the low end then. Because that's the thing, like, even if you don't like this, would you really give it a 1? Like, you sit down and watch this, you think this is a 1? Nah.
Well, you know,
but yeah, it's like score breakdown. Yeah, it seems like it's kind of heavy on the 1s. So, yeah, I don't know. Not that I think much of IMDb scores at this point, but it is what it is.
No. No, they like Rotten Tomatoes
you know, they don't
are corrupted and
don't worry.
Yeah. Well, them
There's
like
that issue,
Rotten
too.
Tomatoes. Yeah.
But yeah, overall, yeah, good series. Anything you want to add, Bobby?
No. What is next in line for Marvel after this? Is it just Deadpool?
Yeah. That is a good question. Let me dig it up. Once my internet works a little bit better. Anyways. I know Deadpool 3 is in July. So we got a while till then, and that's the next feature film. But I know there's got to be a series coming out. Let's see. Wow, this isn't helpful at all.
Because I know the Sony movie's coming out this year, but I don't think that has anything to do with the MCU.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with the MCU. But we are, listen, we're only getting 1 Marvel movie this year, and that's Deadpool 3. We're getting 1 DC movie this year, and that's going to be the Joker 2 sequel, which I'm intrigued by. Like, a musical Joker sequel sounds really batshit to me, and I'm kind of down for it.
Yeah.
And then we're getting 2. The one company is getting 2 comic book movies out in their shared universe is going to be fucking Sony with Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter this year. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Kraven the Hunter list looks boring to me. And I suspect Madam Web will be boring as well. But I'm actually kind of hoping that because a part of me looks at Madam Web whenever new stuff comes out, I'm like, oh, that looks awful. I'm down for a shit show. Let's see. Oh, this isn't even up to date. Oh, wait, yes, it is. Okay. Wow. So what is coming up for Marvel? Let's see. TV series. So
While you look that up, I'll be right back.
It's actually not clear at all. So guys, here's what I'm showing right now for 2024. And if you know anything, let me know. We got Echo, which just came out. Then you have Agatha, Darkhold Diaries, which is supposed to be coming out late 2024. And then also scheduled for 2024 is apparently Eyes of Wakanda, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and Marvel Zombies. And I think your favorite Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man might be the animated series. Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah, no, it's a changed name from Spider-Man freshman year. Okay. So I don't did you hear any of that, Bobby?
No, I said I'll be right back. I need to fill my water. What's up?
Okay, I real quick. So what's coming out next is I don't know.
Okay.
But
Excellent.
Agatha, the only thing that has close to a date is Agatha Darkhold Diaries, which is the date on that is late 2024.
Okay.
And then the other stuff that's supposed to be 2024, but there's no date, just 2024 is Eyes of Wakanda, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and Marvel Zombies. Which I assume Marvel Zombies is just
it's going to be a one-off, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it? Yeah, I'm kind of interested. Like, is that just going to be an anime project? Because I won't mind if they're going to do a one-off Marvel Zombies thing, do a live-action thing. That would be awesome.
Well, they
But
did the
probably
wolf.
don't have
They
money
did that
for
Wolfman thing, so it might be something like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If they did any sort of follow-up to Werewolf by Night, I would be down.
Yeah.
Werewolf by Night was pretty fucking awesome.
And that was pretty good for a one-off.
Yeah, it's almost disappointing that it was a one-off because I want to see more.
That was fucking great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, are we ready for the best Star Trek movie ever?
Yeah.
Yes. Star Trek Generations. 2 captains, 1 destiny. One amazing movie. 10 out of 10. Brilliant. So actually, I will say there are aspects of this movie that I think are kind of cool. And I feel like if this movie, like if they just done what they should have been, pushed back this movie a year and fleshed out the script a little bit more, I think this would have been a fan-fucking-tastic movie. But in case you're wondering, they rushed the shit out of this movie. TNG just ended. The original crew didn't want to do any more movies. Paramount wanted more movies, so they said, okay, let's get the TNG crew in movies. And they rushed out after TNG pretty much just ended. And God damn it, it's there are so many issues with this. You can tell just watching it that feels rushed. The lighting on the ship looks awful.
When exactly?
Like there's lots of yellow lights on the ship. It just looks weird, and it's like they talk about how they had trouble lighting it because it was set for TV lights, obviously, and they had trouble lighting it to make it look theatrical. And they definitely didn't quite hit it here. Either it looked way too dark or yellow for some reason. And then
I have a question for you.
Yes.
When did Chekhov become a medical officer?
When DeForest Kelly said no to the script.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, no, so listen. So William Shatner, James Doohan, and Walter Koenig are in this. And literally the reason why it's those 3 is because those are the 3 that said yes. So what they did was they put together a TNG script, and then they had tagged on Whoever from the original cast was going to come back, and it was just those three.
I thought it was originally written to be Kirk, Spock, and Bones.
I don't know if that was ever been revealed, but the way that goes down, it would actually make sense to be Kirk, Spock, and Bones. Absolutely. Yeah. And those would be
or maybe like too. Just their part was written like maybe it was supposed to be Bones and Kirk, and like because really a lot of the stuff that the rapport back and forth is things that I feel Bones would say, like Scotty telling Kirk brought a tear to my eye. That sounds like a Bones line to me.
Yeah.
And also, congratulations, you all just became nurses. That's a Bones thing to say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that's my first complaint about this.
Yeah. Ooh, do you want to keep going?
No, we can go on as we talk more about it.
Okay. Well, I mean, another evidence, not just the lighting of the ship, as to why this is rushed. Their uniforms change a lot in this movie. A lot. Like there are scenes where, I don't know why they didn't just make sure the main cast just wore their regular uniforms and then they could just fuck around with the uniforms for the extras. But no, they fucked around with everybody's uniform. There is literally a scene where Riker is walking around in a uniform where the sleeves are clearly way too short for him. And then later you get a scene where Geordi, like he has this split in the top of the uniform and it's like bucking out around his chest, almost like he was showing cleavage or something.
Like he looked like the rebranded Star Wars toys where Luke had a six-pack.
Yeah, and then like if you look at his sleeves are like draping over his hands. It's like, okay, that's not fitted for him at all.
No.
And it's like, guys, like just take a little bit more time and get this right. Make some more background uniforms so like you don't have regular cast in like these crazy uniforms that clearly don't fit. And then we haven't even gone to story stuff.
There was a few, like when Data's chip started to first malfunction. You notice that's a little tight on Brent?
Yeah.
Especially around the collar area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I noticed the costuming too.
Yeah. And I don't understand, like, literally, when you have this issue, okay, here's what you do. The regular cast, just put on your normal TV uniforms. Just wear those. And then the background people, we'll do what we can with DS9 shit and extra uniforms. We'll do what we can. Because that was what was going on. They were grabbing DS9 uniforms and just putting people in whatever works for that scene. And that's how come it, like, they actually did a timeline. I imagine it would look like people are literally changing uniforms multiple times a day. It's so anyways, that's just the technical stuff that you notice.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
The story itself is actually pretty good.
I would argue the story itself has some serious fucking potential. So, like, you have Data experimenting with his emotion chip, and like it kind of going on the fritz, and him not knowing how to handle it. It's not so much it going on the fritz as much as he's just learning emotions and figuring out how to handle it, and not doing great at it. And I think that's really interesting. I think Brent Spiner does an amazing job with that. During this happening, you have Picard, who just found out that his brother and his side of the family just died in a terrible, tragic fire. And they're gone. That side of his family's gone. He is the last living Picard. And he is, like, freaking out over that. He is having emotional breakdowns over that. Obviously not in front of people, but, like, in the privacy of his quarters, he's having breakdowns over that. And, like, there's a great play here about, like, how these guys' emotions are breaking down and not, they're not helping them, but, like, they still have to do their duty and go forward. And then you literally have a villain, Soren, whose motivation is entirely emotion-based. Like, he is like, I'm going to get this ribbon because I feel good in this ribbon, and that's all that matters. Fuck everyone else's life. And there is some fantastic stuff to explore here, and I feel like this movie was too rushed to properly explore it, because it just feels like we have these great character moments, but nothing really feels to come together. The closest you get is that conversation that Picard has with Data, where it's like, hey, you have to pick up your emotions and learn to work with them. We need you on duty. That's the closest we get to any sort of conjunction of any of these cool stories.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Like, there's some great themes that they scratch the
Yeah.
surface of in here,
yes,
but they don't really explore.
it's another thing where it's like, give it another year, flesh out this script, and we could actually have a really good like Picard and Kirk movie working together. That sounds awesome to me. But and it always drives me nuts because Soren's plot here is really it's bad. it's
Yeah.
quite bad.
You know, I will say this though, for 94, some of these effects are still looks pretty decent. I
Oh
think.
yeah. No, the effects here are actually totally decent. Like the destruction of the Enterprise is lots of model work and shit like that, which is great.
Yeah, and I'm always a big fan of that.
Yeah, destroying the Enterprise is always fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like my biggest issue would be Soren's plan is just insane and doesn't make any sense. And you could argue, well, the point is it's insane, but like literally Kirk got into a ribbon by being in a ship and flying into it and blowing up in it, but he got caught in it. And then they say Soren can't do that because the ship would get blown up. But that's what Kirk did. What? No, that evidence shows that does work. For some reason, it doesn't. So Soren has to go around and blow up solar systems, populate solar systems, just so the ribbon will go to a planet that he can be on that will blow up.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the gist of it.
Yeah, no, it's gobbledygook at this point.
No,
and
I
like I
see
said,
what you mean by they rushed this one out. Yeah.
oh God, yeah. Bobby, where are you at on this?
I do like this one. I do for its flaws, and this is kind of where all the bad from the previous ones, I feel like they kind of hit their pinnacle with 5.
Mm-hmm.
And Undiscovered was a little bit better.
Undiscovered's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a little bit better. By
Mhm.
that I mean it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is probably still lower on the list.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
No,
it's nice, just like it's good fan service. You know, before
Yes.
fan service became such a common thread.
no, yeah. I mean, getting Kirk and Picard in the same movie, that's fucking awesome.
In the
Yeah.
same scene,
Yes.
shooting off each other.
working together, and you get. Yeah, I mean, we've always seen Captain on the Bridge. Now we get Bridge on the Captain.
Yeah.
Comes together.
And you know, Riker will get to sit in the chair one day.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
But yeah, I do have issues like completely panning this movie because I appreciate what they were trying. I think there are so many good ideas here and so many good potential ideas. And I brought up how Brent Spiner's really selling the emotion chip. I think Patrick Stewart's really selling his emotional shit with his family and just breaking down.
And this had a kitty.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Spot is the best character in this without doubt.
Yeah, it had a kitty.
Yeah, no, it's always awesome. It's like, oh, yay, Spot's okay. I'm assuming Picard's fish are dead, though. They didn't bring up that one.
I'm sure the fish are dead. But that kid saved the Tribble, so you know it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
We don't know about a Moopsie though.
Moopsie. They need to do a Star Trek horror movie where the villain's a Moopsie.
That would be fucking awesome.
I am so game. Watch, that was actually the Moopsie was what they got from Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek idea. That was his whole idea.
That'd be fucking beautiful.
Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek.
Moopsie.
Moopsie.
Moopsie Rising.
I am so game for that. But yeah, like, do I hate Star Trek Generations? No, and
No.
I definitely liked it at the time because I mean Kirk and Picard in the same scene, fucking awesome. But yeah, it's not great either. It's for me, it just screams rust production and missed potential. I guess that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I can agree.
Mhm.
I concur.
Yeah. Make it so. Say anything
Make
bad, Bobby?
Yeah, make it so.
Right from Mean Girls.
Yeah. Well, hold on. We got Nate here in the chat. Was Picard on the Borg after the end of Next Generation?
You know what I love about the series finale of Next Generation? That the Borg weren't involved with it. Because it's ever since then when Picard's gone involved. I think ever after First Contact, which is a movie I love, by the way. We'll get to it probably fairly soon at this rate. But ever since then, whenever Picard's brought up, the Borg are involved, and I'm sick. Just stop, please. But I mean, if we keep diving into Star Trek, I'm sure we'll get to it, and I'll get to do some rants on some seasons, namely seasons 2 and 3 of Picard. Yeah,
yeah. I tried to get it. I tried to watch it. I lost interest after 4 episodes of season 1. I couldn't.
I love New Trek, but Picard is so issue filled. It is easily the weakest of the New Trek series. Like,
and you could argue that it was just I had too much expectations for it, but no.
There's some sloppy writing. The one thing I will give Picard is that it has 7 of 9, and she is still awesome.
Yes.
But yeah, if stuff's gonna be drying up this year because of all the strikes and everything, so maybe we'll get into Picard. Yay!
Strange New Worlds.
We got a while till we get a new Strange New World season. But yes, you know what we don't have a while for?
The
Mean Girls musical. Yes. This was meh to fine.
Yeah, pretty much. It was all right. I didn't hate it. Like, I really didn't hate it.
I'll go over some positives. I think the new Katie Heron, I think she did a really good job.
She looks a lot like Jenna Fisher. She looks a lot like Jenna Fisher.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I could see that. And yeah, obviously Jenna Fisher plays her mom, so that works.
So
out
yeah,
nicely.
that worked out. I noticed that right away. I was like, huh. The new cast of Mean Girls, I liked them all.
Yeah.
Karen was such an idiot.
Job. Yeah,
Karen was such an idiot.
Pretty much all the kids do well. I will say, like, I think Tina Fey and Tim Meadows were good, but like, I also felt like at times they're kind of just repeating their lines, and part of that might just be literally because they're repeating their lines, and it felt a little bit more tired than it does in the original, which
it felt like an SNL
is a little
bit.
Disappointing. Yes.
It felt like an SNL sketch with them.
Which, I mean, the first one did that too, but the first one, like, leaned into that tone more, so it was a bit more expected. I will be blunt, like, half the time I forgot this was a musical, and then they'd go, it's not because they lacked musical numbers, but it's more that they didn't really stick with you. A lot of them aren't very memorable, and they just kind of happen, and it's like,
and then that's it.
And then they start doing a new song. It's like, oh, that's right. They've been doing songs for this. I forgot. A lot of the songs are really fucking short. They're like almost like little like jingles, and then they move on to the next.
Like, I thought they would be like much longer numbers and presentations, but no.
I mean, my daughter will go over it, and I have a little clip of my daughter giving her review of it. We'll play it at the end. But yeah, the musical numbers aren't very memorable. It feels it's like the original movie, but not as good at the end of the day, it feels like.
It had a lot of the funny points that made me laugh in the original.
Yeah,
but I gotta say,
chuckles.
Like, I still love the "Nothing for Gretchen Wiener" part. Still loved that. Still laughed out loud at that. Still think it's funnier in the original.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I would say this movie would be like, this movie covers too much of the old ground to really be considered to really stand as like a follow-up to the original. But then like it skips over some stuff that you kind of need from the original that the original hits on a lot harder. So it doesn't really stand on its own great, but also doesn't stand with the original great because it feels like too much repeat material.
And a little
So it
bit
ends up in this
shuffled.
weird middle ground. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of it seemed like shuffled in like the
Yeah.
order of events.
Like to give you an idea of one thing that kind of drove me nuts. So obviously in the original, Katie and Regina get into this huge fight. They end up outside the school, and Regina gets plowed down by a bus just suddenly and out of nowhere in one of the most famous scenes from the original movie. Now this one, that same thing happens, but you don't get any of Katie or Regina's fight. Literally, Janice breaks into a musical number, which honestly, I'm kind of surprised Janice didn't get more musical numbers because Janice is actually the voice actress for Moana in that movie.
Really?
Yes, my daughter told me. I was like, "Oh shit!" I'm surprised she
Okay.
didn't get more.
Yeah, seriously.
But she gets a huge musical number, and then real quickly in the background, you see Regina get hit by the bus, and it's like, "Whoa!"
I saw Katie.
That's how we're
push her.
handling that moment.
I swear I saw Katie push her.
Yeah. I guess maybe it's made to be a bit more ambiguous on where or not Katie pushed her, because in the original, Katie definitely didn't push her.
Yeah, she definitely didn't.
Yeah. But again, like, I think the cast is good. I feel like Tina Fey and Tim Meadows are maybe a little like they've done it before and it's not really their fault, but it just comes off like, you know, they've been there, done that too much with them.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you do get the cameo from Lindsay Lohan, and she's fine. Yeah, I don't have much to add except I feel this isn't great. Like, would I recommend it? Probably not. Do I think it's like the worst thing ever? No, it's entertaining-ish. I didn't hate myself. I was a little bored, but you know, I've definitely done worse.
Too, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's been worse, bigger stinkers that we've sat through.
Yeah, I mean, this is not fucking Rebel Moon by any.
No,
This isn't even Aquaman.
this is not. This is not Witcher season 3.
Nope, not even that.
Oh, wolf.
No, this
Oh.
is just a meh movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here, let's go over real quick what we're going over next week. Unless if there's anything you want to add, Bobby, or should we just head on to next week?
Yeah, let's talk about next week.
But yeah, if you want to hear my daughter's thought, don't disconnect yet. I'm gonna put it on after we go next week. Oh goddamn. Well, here, you know what? I have a second monitor. I can bring it up on here. Here we go. You guys get to look at me as I wait for the screen to load. I mean, this is exciting shit, guys. All right. So we got the Iron Claw and then Last Airbender. Do we want to do Daredevil season 2 next week? Like the first couple episodes? Okay. I hope it's not too much, but I do kind of, especially after Echo, I kind of want to dive back into doing those. And then maybe after that, we'll dive into First Contact, because Star Trek is good too. All right. So next week we will do the Iron Claw. We will do the first 10 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender season 1. And then we'll do the first 4 episodes of Daredevil season 2. Honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to getting through all those. And with Born Again getting pushed back, we'll have plenty of time. But I haven't seen all the Netflix stuff, although I have seen Daredevil season 2. I'm mainly excited to see Daredevil season 3 and Jessica Jones season 2. But yeah, I think that is hopefully going to be a good show.
Yeah, I hope so.
But Bobby, anything you want to promote before I go ahead and throw up my daughter?
No, throw the kid up. Let's hear what she had to say.
All right. we just came from Mean Girls. Obviously, I'll be talking about this with Bobby, but I thought it would be good to get the opinion of somebody who's probably more in the target demographic for this movie. So, Ashleen, my daughter, what do you think of Mean Girls? What are your thoughts of Mean Girls, the original?
My opinions about Mean Girls. I think it's a fun movie. I don't have anything wrong with it necessarily. I think a lot of people treat it like it's like the greatest movie in the world, though, and I don't really I have problems with that movie. You know, I don't think it's like there are definitely things from it that I think are good, and I understand why it's so popular. I don't think it's amazing though or anything like that. I do think though that its depiction of female friendships in high school is actually, upon, rewatching it as an actual high schooler, isn't actually super out there. It goes places where it's no, that would never happen to you. But, the actual, day-to-day, just, the way that they talk to each other and stuff like that really isn't that wild. Which was one of the things that I found shocking about it.
Yeah.
I think, in a way, it almost made it less funny for me. But,
all right.
What I have to say.
Well, I remember when you were younger, you really liked that movie. But, so I mean, with familiarity with the original Mean Girls, and we went in and we watched the musical Mean Girls, what was your thought?
Okay. So, my opinion. I guess I'll state my credentials before we start.
Ooh.
I'm very qualified to talk about this movie, trust me. I am a high school girl.
What?
I have, sang for, on stage for, give me a moment, let me calculate this. 7 years. I've done dance for a couple of years, and I also did theater for a couple of years. So I am actually very qualified to talk about this movie.
You definitely have more qualification. I watch movies.
So my opinions on this movie. My opinion, I don't think it's a perfect movie. I think there are definitely things that I don't like about it, and there are definitely things that I do like about it. I think I could definitely see some people really enjoying this movie, and I could definitely see some people being, pretty miffed by it. It's one of those. And I know that doesn't really tell you a whole lot, but I guess to give you a better idea, I guess I'll just start. So I know about singing. As stated before, I've been singing on stage for 7 years. So I've been out there. And what I have to say about the vocal performances in this is that they're okay. They're not bad per se.
Yeah, I'm not saying professional. I thought they were good. But yeah, there's nothing that stood out to me. I will also say that.
I think the thing about it is that, I think it sounds good to people, and it's more impressive if you don't sing. And I don't even mean this, I don't think that their performances were bad. I just think that the songs that they were singing weren't really designed to, show off, vocal talent.
Yeah,
Not that anyone did a bad job. Don't come out of this thinking that I'm, trashing the cast or anything like that. I thought that the cast did a good job with what they were handed. I really did. But it's just that, the actual, musical quality of, the vocals wasn't, super awesome. In general, though, I don't really find, the soundtrack, super memorable. It's not really my thing. I'm certain there is someone that will really enjoy the soundtrack. And I mean, as someone that is also familiar with the soundtrack of the original musical to some extent, I have listened to the whole thing before, and I really only remember some of the songs, and the songs that I do remember are the ones that are in the movie. So, take that for what you will. Yeah. I have some other opinions. As I said before, I think that the cast is nice. There are some ways that they handled things that I'm not a super big fan of. It felt kind of rushed, and I think that's because, you know, songs increase the run times of things. Musicals tend to be kind of on the longer side, just because everyone's singing about how they feel,
Yeah.
you know? And singing takes a bit longer than talking generally.
What?
But, I mean, it doesn't have to, but, like, you know, when you have an entire song devoted to, like, oh, I feel this way about that thing, then that's gonna, like, it's gonna lengthen the runtime, like, a lot. And one of the things that I noticed about this was that the songs were shorter, and, like, the time that they spent, like, you know, like, actually doing things, I hate to say, like, you know, non-theater related stuff, was all kind of rushed, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it sort of, it happened, you know? And, like, it sort of felt like they were on, like a very short schedule or something like that. Like, if I were to guess, as right now, what exactly happened, I would guess that they were on a pretty tight schedule, and they just, like, they needed to get the movie out. But they didn't want, and they wanted to, like, you know, they want it to be a musical, but they don't want it to be, like, 3 hours long. And so, like, a bunch of cuts happen.
Yeah.
And so they just sort of, they go through it, you know? And so there's, like, some stuff in there. And a lot of stuff, it's just, like, I feel like it was gone through too fast. And then there's other things where it's, like, I'm just not really a big fan of how that was handled, you know? Like, I guess, for example, a specific part of the movie. So, for example, Janice in the original movie is outcast because Regina made up a rumor about her being a lesbian. And, you know, oh, she's so obsessed with me, you know? That's where that line comes from. It's very much in the modern lingo.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from. If you are one of the people that have not seen Mean Girls. But anyway, and so there were some changes they made on regard to how this was treated within the story and this sort of topic matter. And I understand that, and there were definitely some things about it that I thought were a bit better, and there were other things where I was not as impressed. One of the changes they made, and I sort of assumed that they would that would happen, that this would happen, I'm winning, is that they actually just made, like, Janice is just actually supposed to be gay in this version. And I don't think that that's bad, and I sort of assume, I'm pretty neutral about it, to be honest with you. I sort of assumed that it would probably end up going that way. But, like, they also, like, changed, like, the entire thing about, like, you know, the exact circumstances where Regina made up the rumor. And it's not, like, entirely bad, per se, but there are definitely things that don't make sense to me. Like, it's, like, a lot of it feels, like, kind of, like, contrived, you know? Like, not really, like, an actual way that people would bully each other. Like, it feels like an inside joke that only Regina would know about. Like, there's this whole thing where she has, like, a stuffed animal or something like that, and she called it Lizzie Sis, and it's supposed to stand for... no, it's Sissy Liz, sorry.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to stand for, like, obsessed lesbian or something like that.
Yeah.
And, like, I have no clue how anyone would ever figure that out.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what they were going for, but it's just like, oh, and everyone knew about it, and they were all laughing at Janice the entire time, and it's like, I wouldn't have known about it. Me personally.
Yeah.
I might just be kind of dumb, but I would never have known. I would have just assumed that that's the name of her plushie.
Yeah.
You know? It never would have occurred to me that it stood for anything. You know? It's her sister, and her name's Liz.
Yeah.
Like, that's... I would have taken it entirely at face value.
Yeah.
And I feel like most people would, unless you're super into, like, decoding the names of your friends'
Well, I don't...
animals.
Yeah, it's a plushy stuffed animal. I don't know why you would decode it. Sissy Liz. Oh, let's break this down. An obsessed lesbian from Sissy. It's like...
And, like, I guess you could have done the stuffed animal thing, but not like that. Not like that. Because it just doesn't... It doesn't feel like anything that... Like, it's almost like... it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And Yeah, I guess on the topic of that though, I saw something. I ended up watching the trailer for this one, you know, just because I didn't have anything else to do. And I might as well. You know, I am going to be seeing that movie eventually. One of the promotional materials that I found had like a burn book for like the older movie and the newer movie.
Okay.
And it was like the older movie, it's so outdated and stuff like that, you know, and they had like the faces of all of like the people on the poster like scratched out.
Yeah.
And then they had like a bunch of like compliments for the newer movie. And one of the words that they had to describe the newer movie was queer.
Oh.
Don't mess with me, Tina Fey. That was like only like marginally more gay than the last one.
Nah.
I guess there were 4 people that weren't straight in opposition to just one, and half of them don't have lines or names.
Okay, yeah. I was about ready to say I don't remember the other 2.
Yeah, they were like Damien and Janice's dates.
That's right, they did have dates.
Yes,
yeah.
they did.
Barely, yes.
And like,
I don't think they had any lines. Though.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. There are people in this movie that like aren't heterosexual.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
yeah,
don't market it as being a queer movie.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It wasn't.
Well, in her defense, I said don't mess with. You said don't mess with Tina Fey.
Don't mess with me.
In her defense, I doubt Tina Fey had anything to do with the marketing for this movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I brought up Tina Fey because that was the only name I could think of.
She is definitely the
behind
most prominent name attached to this because she wrote the original screenplay. And
Don't
apparently,
mess with me.
I don't know if she wrote the screenplay for this. She got the screenplay credit again. I don't know if she wrote the musical screenplay or if she was just given the credit again and then
I doubt she
the
wrote the
musical
songs.
adaptation. Yeah, I doubt she.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Maybe I'm misreading her. Tina Fey doesn't seem super musical to me, but maybe I'm misreading her. She is funny and very talented. I want to stress that. But yeah,
I have no real issue with Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Tina Fey, if you are watching this, I'm not going to fight you. It's okay. It's fine.
I will. I don't care if you're a woman. That's reasonable, right?
No more sexism. I will beat up women too.
Equal opportunity assaulter. Wait, this sounds really bad. I really shouldn't be saying this.
This is gonna show up on our records later.
Oh, well, I guess there's anything you want to add?
Not really.
Okay. Well, there's the thoughts of someone who is age appropriate for the Mean Girls. Someone who's more in the demographic for the Mean Girls musical. There's their thoughts.
Yes.
But don't worry, you're going to get some cis hetero white male thoughts on it too. Okay, so that was the wow. I don't look right there. That was my daughter and I discussing the Mean Girls movie, and my internet connection is going to crap, so I'll turn off the camera. But anyways, that is our thought. Obviously, Bobby and I went over our thoughts before the video rather than after. But yeah, nothing else to add. Tomorrow or next week, we're going to try for Iron Claw. Apparently, it's leaving theaters, but we'll give it a shot. We might be able to track down streaming. But we're also going to do some Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original series. And then we're also going to do Daredevil. We're going to start Daredevil season 2, do the first 4 episodes. They'll be exciting to dive back into that. I remember really loving Punisher in that series. So yeah, that'll be fun. We will see you guys next week. Oh yeah, and then I got a solo stream on Thursday. We got Initiative stream on Wednesday. We got stuff coming up for you guys. So party on and be excellent to each other.